They're in the gate. And they're off at the Great Race Place to a clean start. 3 Georges. Tapalo is up close to the early going. So is the Old Nine in between horses. And down at the rail, belly up is a close-up fourth. It's a gap of 4 to Rhythm on Stage, and every day is Saturday at the back of the field. Tapalo widest of all, belly up at the rail, and the Old Nine is in between those two. 2 lengths back to 3 Georges by himself in fourth. A gap of 4 to Rhythm on Stage, and every day is Saturday. Jaramillo gets Tapalo to take the lead into the far turn. Belly up is asked to cling to him and is doing so. 3.5 more, the Old Nine in third, followed by 3 Georges at the rail. Rhythm on Stage, and every day is Saturday. Belly up on the inside is reclaimed a narrow advantage. Tapalo on the outside, they race together as one. The Old Nine is 2 behind, trying to rally into it. Down at the rail, 3 Georges. Rhythm on Stage there at the top of the stretch. And the Old Nine, who wisely backed off that battle, is up to take the lead inside the final eighth of a mile. The Old Nine opens up under confident handling from Mirko De Muro, and it's over. The Old Nine pours it on through the stretch to score by 4. Rhythm on Stage up for second, belly up, and 3 Georges. Ensko to the outside. And they're off. Very even start. That's All Right Mama and Jensko, the first 2 out of the gate. Can't Deal With It is racing in between those 2. Here's Pocket Venus down at the rail, Fort just 2 lengths off them. Crazy Cami and Alahi's at the back. 5 lengths covers them down the back stretch, and it's Jensko leading the way just under a length to That's All Right Mama. 2 more. Crazy Cami has made serious progress in a hurry all the way up to third. At the rail, Pocket Venus is in fourth. Can't Deal With It, and now a half dozen back to Alahi's. It's Jensko taking them into the far turn. At the rail, That's All Right Mama with Crazy Cami in the pink, now taking second. Pocket Venus is fourth, 3 lengths off the lead, 6 clear of Can't Deal With It, and Alahi starts to pick it up while still last. Jensko will take him to the quarter pole in front by a length. Crazy Cami trying to get by second. 2 more to That's All Right Mama in third, and then Pocket Venus. The other 2 far back, top of the stretch. Jensko clinging to the lead. Crazy Cami. That's All Right Mama running a good race at the rail, and Pocket Venus a 16th to go. And Jensko, under a confident hand ride, has opened up late. It will be Jensko and Mike Smith to score by 3 lengths. Crazy Cami second. Pocket Venus won the photo for third over That's All Right Mama. Ms. Club Kelly to the outside. And they're off. Ms. Club Cali was out very quickly. So was Cypress Moon, and those 2 battle it out. Cypress Moon clears off, though, and is up to take command. Shamrockin' is up close, and in between them, Giggle Giggle is asked for early speed and moves into second. Behind them comes the gray Edesia, who's 4 lengths off the lead, inching up at the rail. The 2 trailers, Alaramo and Strange Addiction at the back. Pedal to the metal for Cypress Moon, who has scampered clear to lead it by more than 3. Shamrock in second, Edesia at the rail, Ms. Club Cali outside of them. 2 more back to Giggle Giggle, similar margin Alaramo, and 4 back to Strange Addiction. Around the far turn, it's been all Cypress Moon thus far. Maintains a 3-length lead. Down at the rail, Edesia trying to get into second. Shamrockin' is right next to her. And Ms. Club Cali is for top of the stretch. Cypress Moon. Edesia clearly into second. And coming after Cypress Moon with 1 furlong to go. Cypress Moon by 3. Edesia second. Strange Addiction third. A 16th to go for Cypress Moon. Edesia is getting to her. And so is Strange Addiction on the outside. Edesia takes the lead late. And Edesia prevails. Strange Addiction like a rocket into second. Cypress Moon third. Alarama ran fourth. You're sure to experience world-class gaming, dining, and entertainment. Coming soon to Yamava Theater, Chris Isaac, America the Band, James Fuego del Sol. And they're off. Very slow start for Fianello. It's a quick one for Alaquin Summer, who's going to battle for the lead. Here's Southern Melody now to take over, and Tommy Norris splits that pair and is quicker than all. Tommy Norris to the front. Southern Melody second, 3 back to Alaquin Summer down at the rail in third. Then comes Fuego del Sol, racing 5 clear of What a Gift, and Fianello is now angled off the rail and asked to go. Heading to the 3/8 pole, it's Tommy Norris leading by a length and a half to Southern Melody, make it 2. A gap of 4, Fuego del Sol on the outside of Alaquin Summer. Fianello is out of last with nice momentum, and then comes What a Gift. A quarter of a mile to go, and Tommy Norris is the boss. Has a 4-length lead now on Southern Melody in second, and Fianello on the outside. Alaquin Summer down at the rail. They're in the final furlong, and it is Tommy Norris by 4 lengths. A line of 3 headed by Fianello on the outside, chasing Tommy Norris. 2.5-length lead. Fianello's charging hard. It will be Tommy Norris holding off an unlucky Fianello. What a Gift came rolling to be in a battle for third with Alaquin Summer. They're all in line. And they're off. Jenny's Wine Girl is very quick out of there. So is Danzig Till Dawn. And these two will battle it out the opening furlong, joined by Sally's Wish, who's down on the rail. Warm Reception fourth. Pure Chaos is fifth. The pace is lively early on. Tis Sunrise is on the inside of Adverse Selection. A couple of lengths back to Suntory Time, who's down at the rail, and Imperfection outside of her. They're covered by a little more than 12 lengths, and Sally's Wish is the quickest to the backstretch, leads at a length and a half. Danzig Till Dawn in second, 3 lengths back. Jenny's Wine Girl taking a hold of in third, a nice strong hold too, and Warm Reception is down at the rail. That group is followed by Tis Sunrise, who's right on the inside of Pure Chaos with a half-mile left to go. Then Adverse Selection, Suntory Time inching up inside of that rival, and Imperfection at the back. Sally's Wish into the far turn has been up there throughout, has a 2-length lead. Nice trip for Warm Reception, who's trying to move through along the inside. In the meantime, Jenny's Wine Girl makes her move, and it's a bold one. And following her is Pure Chaos on the outside. They're at the top of the stretch, and Jenny's Wine Girl has pounced on Sally's Wish. On the outside, Pure Chaos is running a big race. These two now come past the 8 pole. Pure Chaos has surged to the front in the final stages under Armando Ayuso and turns it on late. Pure Chaos strides out nicely to score by 3.5. Tis Sunrise got up second. Jenny's Wine Girl was third, and fourth went to Sally's Wish. One more. In the gate. And they're off. Matt at 5 broke well. One step beyond is very quick. These two hook up right away. And just behind them, Positive Times is racing in third. They're followed by my man, Joe Roldan, who's racing in between horses. The gray is Galloping Ghost, moving up boldly on the outside while under a nice hold. An Omission is at the back of a fairly compact group. It's Matt at 5 to the half-mile pole, pressed by one step beyond their stride for stride. Positive Times racing in the third position. Galloping Ghost gets a little nudge to come closer. Then my man Joe Roldan is in between those two, and a half dozen to Omission. They have 3 furlongs to run. Matt at 5 and one step beyond, racing as a team. Galloping Ghost now looming and looming menacingly. Here's that gray head of Galloping Ghost coming to Matt at 5. These two go on. One step beyond is under pressure. Matt at 5 on the inside, and Galloping Ghost come to the 8th pole together. Matt at 5, a very tough customer, just so close to that rail. Galloping Ghost on the outside puts his head in front. Matt at 5 will battle him all the way to the wire. Galloping Ghost gets the upper hand, and Galloping Ghost under Juan Hernandez wins it by 2. Matt at 5, a solid debut. Then it was Positive Times and my man, Joe Roldan. In the gate. And they're off. Whirling Point and Wizard of Westwood are vying for the early lead. Here's City Exile down the center of the course into third. Then comes Living Life, who was in a little tight with Amplitude. And just inside of that one comes Dicey Mochara. By the stands the first time, and it is Wizard of Westwood who gets a relatively easy lead. Twirling Point is in second. Dicey Mochara moves through on the inside to take third, and City Exile is fourth, 4 lengths off the lead. Amplitude is down on the inside, and Living Life at the back, now 6 lengths off front-running Wizard of Westwood. And it's Wizard of Westwood, who could not have gotten an easier and softer trip. Opens up 3 now on Twirling Point, the clear-cut second. Dicey Mochara in the red colors down at the rail in third. And then it's City Exile, who's fourth and 4.5 off the pace. That group followed by Amplitude. And outside of him comes Living Life. There's been no change. It's been all Wizard of Westwood on the front end, carving out all the fractions. Freysu gives a little nudge to Twirling Point to try and get closer, as Dicey Mochara's had a good trip along the rail in third, City Exile fourth. Amplitude fifth. They're really sprinting for home now. And another 2 back to Living Life. Wizard of Westwood confronted now by Twirling Point, and Twirling Point runs right by him past the quarter pole. Dicey Mochara is racing in between horses. City Exile on the outside. It's Twirling Point in full flight. 4 lengths clear suddenly over City Exile in second. Living Life trying to rally on the outside of Dicey Mochara, but Twirling Point made that decisive bid and proves much the best, cruising to a 3-length score. Second is City Exile, Photo third, Living Life, and Dicey Mochara. They're in the gate. And they're off. Duran off half a step slowly, and it was not a quick one for Rim Protector either. Joint Venture is going straight to the front. Feel the Magic is prominent as well in the early stages, and down at the rail, Majestic Palisades now moves up to claim that second spot behind the front-running Feel the Magic, who comes to the 6 furlong pole, leading it by a length and a half. In between horses, Joint Venture, Leia's Candy, and the Red Silks moves up. And now it's virtually 3 across the track as Majestic Palisades backs off that battle in fourth. Duran, who was off slowly, is all the way up to fifth, just 3 lengths off the lead. He's followed by Resemblance. Then it's a gap of at least 5 back to pass the baton. And Rim Protector is at the back of the field. Feel the Magic with a half-mile left to go. Leads it by a neck. Joint Venture traveling kindly in between horses and very willingly going after the leader. Leia's Candy is 3 deep in third. Majestic Palisades down at the rail. Duran is in between horses trying to make a move now. And there goes Duran. He's on the muscle coming after the new leader, Joint Venture. Joint Venture, but Duran just goes right by him. And Duran's in front by almost a length. Rim Protector comes off the rail. Leia's Candy is dropped out of it. Then comes Resemblance and past the baton. They're at the top of the stretch. Duran made that move. Can he sustain it? Joint Venture is tough and coming back for more. These two nose to nose inside the final eighth of a mile. Duran on the outside and Florent Giroux. Joint Venture and Welfin Orantes. 2 back to Majestic Palisades and Armando Aguilar. It will be Duran. How tough was he? Photo for second between Joint Venture and an oncoming Majestic Palisades. Resemblance ran fourth. They're in the gate. And they're off. Bad to the bones broke alertly, but it's Silly Rabbit, his stablemate, who sprints up to battle for the lead with both Tappet Dynasty and Bolt Supremacy. Precision comes away in fourth. Joser is 3 wide going into the first turn. Bad to the Bones is down at the rails. 6 Magpies in between those two. Do It for Dave is second last, and the distant trailer Spun, Not Spurred. They move on to the backstretch, and it's Silly Rabbit showing the way. Has it by a length and a half. Bolt Supremacy is racing in second. Another 2. Back to Precision, who's just in front of Tappet Dynasty. Tappet Dynasty moving through a narrow opening down at the rail. That group is followed by Joser, who's 4 lengths off the pace. Down at the rail, Bad to the Bones. 6 Magpies is next. Do It for Dave follows that one, and Spun Not Stirred at the back. Moving around the far turn, and it's Silly Rabbit has a 2-length advantage. Tappet Dynasty moves through a joint second as they come to the quarter pole. Precision is racing outside of him. It's 2 more lengths back to Joser, who's next. They're at the top of the stretch, and Silly Rabbit, the leader. Tappet Dynasty angles to the outside to try and run him down. Down on the inside, Bad to the Bones is next. Center of the course, 6 Magpies is really flying home. Tappet Dynasty takes the lead close to home, and it will be Tappet Dynasty under Giovanni Franco to beat Silly Rabbit. 6 Magpies was next. Then it was Bad to the Bones and Precision. We have a 2-day carryover now, maybe more, but it's
Happy Big Cap Day, everybody. Great to have you on board here for an exciting 11 race card. We've got 4 stake races, 2 of them grade 1s, and of course 2 grade 2s. And if you're a horse player, you know the first Saturday every month from here on out is going to be very important. Of course, today, Big Cap Day. First Saturday in April, San Diego Derby Day. First Saturday in May, Kentucky Derby Day. A lot on the agenda. First things first for today. That's why I brought in our seminar guest. He's the DRF handicapper and reporter and analyst for the Daily Racing Form. His name, Brad Freed. Brad, welcome to the seminar. Happy Big Cap Day.
Thank you. Happy San Felipe Day to you. I'm looking forward to attacking this card. We got 4 graded stakes races today. A couple of very good horses, Splendora in the Beholder Mile and Just a Touch in the Big Cap. But we got 11 races to go through.
We sure do. First post is noon Pacific time. A really good card. You mentioned, Brad, the San Felipe, presented by DK Sports. It's a grade 2 event. Of course, it's a key Kentucky Derby prep as well. 50 Kentucky Derby points on the line. I kind of know who you like, and I don't think it's going to be the morning line favorite.
That's correct. I mean, all due respect to Brandt, he's listed at even money, but he's coming in off a long layoff running against racing fit horses. Maybe he's just the best horse in the field, but if you're going to beat Brandt, I think today is the day, and I'm going to try to do just that.
And, up to this point, Brad, in my opinion, compared to years past, the West Coast contingency for the San Diego Derby and the Kentucky Derby is relatively on the light side. It seems like most of the major contenders for the Kentucky Derby are on the East Coast or maybe even in the Midwest. However, as you mentioned, Bob Baffert hasn't unveiled 2 very talented newly turned 3-year-olds, Brent running today and Boyd hopefully sometime in the future. Bob still has a chance to make an impact on the Kentucky Derby. He's never out of it.
Absolutely not. He has a ton of good 3-year-olds. I mean, we saw another maiden winner a week and a half ago. Cherokee Nation.
Sure did.
We're going to see him in the Santa Anita Derby in a month from today. So Baffert's got plenty of good 3-year-olds. Litmus test. I know he finished 3rd in the Rebel Stakes last weekend.
Yep.
That was his comeback race, and he was not ridden the way he wants to be ridden. His hand was forced from the rail, and his 3rd place finish I thought was a lot better than look. So Baffert's got some good 3-year-olds. But there are other good 3-year-olds trained by some other guys, too, that we'll talk about.
We sure will. Before we actually take a look at any of the races, Brad, another question for you. We've had an influx of new jockeys come to Southern California, which is a bit surprising given our limited racing schedule. And they have a lot of ability, and they've shown that early, specifically Mr. Jaramillo and Mr. Giroux, Florent Giroux, excuse me. They've made a big impact quickly here in Southern California.
Jaramillo came in, and he hooked up immediately with trainer Doug O'Neill, and I think they still lead the trainer jockeys
in terms of combinations.
In terms of combinations. So he hooked in with a good barn. Tom Knust, his agent's done a terrific job. And Jaramillo is a very good jockey. I was not familiar with his riding style. He can ride just about anything. Giroux, obviously, he's tied in with the Baffert barn. He rode Plutarch to victory in the Bob Lewis a couple weeks ago. So he's on his way to becoming a top jockey as well. I keep on waiting for Cesar Belmont to kind of catch on.
Yes.
But it hasn't happened quite yet. We have the guy from Delta Downs, Del Cid.
Yeah.
Del Cid, well, I don't know how much
he was the leading rider. We know he can ride the dirt. We don't know about the turf.
We know he can ride at Delta Downs. We don't know if he can ride at Santa Anita. We don't know how much business he's going to get. It's tough for a new guy to come in to California, not because they don't have the ability, but they don't have the relationships that are necessary to get the good horses.
And I think one of the reasons, Brad, why Jaramillo fit in so quickly is because he's an aggressive speed rider. Yep. Florent Giroux is a little bit more patient. He still fits, but Jaramillo kind of fits our riding style here on the West Coast.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. And I like a jockey who puts his horses into the race. Sometimes a guy like Florent Giroux, terrific jockey, but it sometimes drives me crazy. I'm like, let this horse run or get him up in there quick. I've never ridden a racehorse before, so it's easy for me to be critical. But he is a very good jockey, no doubt about it, Florent Giroux, and he has to be for Baffert to be using him as often as he does.
And as the audience can see on the screen, fast and firm conditions here in Southern California with one small caveat.
Yeah,
the winds were howling here in the San Gabriel Valley earlier this morning, very aggressively around 7 or 8 a.m. They've died down now a little bit. They're going to have an impact, though, I believe, at least maybe on times of the way the races are ridden, because there could be either a headwind or a tailwind. We'll have to see how that kind of progresses throughout the day.
Yeah, though it was so windy in Arcadia this morning that they canceled training. It was just too windy to put these horses out on the track with stuff blowing everywhere. I guess the question is whether it's a headwind or a tailwind. How do you apply that information? Even if you could determine exactly what the specifics are, How do you apply that? I don't know.
You and I spent a lot of time in the paddock. I can tell you this, wind does stir up a horse's behavior. They don't like wind. They don't like noise that they can't attribute anything to. So it's going to be important for those of us who are kind of like paddock analysts to pay attention in the walking ring to see which horses might be stirred up by the wind.
Well, we'll be following you on Twitter, and hopefully you can give us some insight.
I've got a lot of responsibilities besides just Twitter. I've got to manage the Eddie Logan with a lot of high rollers coming in. By the way, there's a $6,000 tournament, live money tournament, ultimate betting challenge. It includes all the races from Gulfstream Park with all the races from Sandy. It's live money. It sounds like a lot of money, but the price structure is tremendous, and whatever you win is yours to keep. One of your colleagues, Bob Ike, has been on a really good roll in these live money tournaments.
Yeah, no, he's doing well. And I think he's playing, is it next weekend in the NHC?
Yeah, the NHC in Las Vegas, Horseshoe
right.
Hotel Casino.
I wish I had time to jump into those tournaments, but I don't, and so I'll just root for my friends.
We talked about the win. We're not full of hot air, particularly when Brad Freed's our seminar guest. We're going to find out who Brad likes on all 11 races, including the Grade 1 Beholder, the Grade 1 Sandy to Handicap, the Grade 2 San Felipe, and of course the Grade 2 Frankie Kilroy Mile. A lot of good action, including a great maiden race in race number 6, which will be the first leg of the Pick 6. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the early changes on a beautiful day here, Big Cap Day in Arcadia, California.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Big Cap Day at Santa Anita Park. The track is fast and the turf course is firm with the rail on the turf at 0 feet. Here are the early changes. The Sunset Pick 6 continues to be elusive. It's now a carryover of under $70,000. It'll start today with Gulfstream's 10th. Just a blinker note in the first leg of the early Pick 5. Race 2, early Pick 4 wagering is offered. Scratch number 3, Running with Chaos. In the third, scratch number 6, South Bay. The fourth is the B. Wayne Hughes Beholder Mile, and it's presented by FanDuel. There is a middle Pick 4 offered today, starting with the fourth. In the fifth race, no changes. Race 6, scratch number 5, Sophie's Heart. It's the start of the Pick 6. In the seventh, kicking off the late Pick 5, scratch number 13, Jasmine. Eighth race starts the late Pick 4. It's the San Felipe Stakes, presented by DK Horse. The ninth is the Frankie Kilroy Mile, and the start of the late Pick 3, no changes. The 10th is the Santa Anita Handicap, presented by Yamavar Resort and Casino at San Manuel. Number 4, Vodka, 2 pounds over. Scratch 5, Skippy Longstocking. and scratch number 7, Westwood. And super high 5 wagering is offered in race number 11. And we just have the one blinker note. Enjoy this extraordinary day of racing at Santa Anita Park. And remember, the Coast to Coast Pick 5 is a wager comprising today 2 races from Gulfstream and 3 from the Great Race Place. It starts in about an hour and 45 minutes with Gulfstream's 7th, low 15% takeout. Retail only. It's offered every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's lots to talk about on today's program, so let's take it back to Quigley's Corner. Tom's special guest today is Brad Free of America's Turf Authority, the Daily Racing Forum.
Welcome back. We're talking horse with Brad Free. You can find his work on a daily basis at sanita.com. Also, if you purchase a copy of the Daily Racing Forum, you can find his analysis there. He does outstanding work. He put in the work for today's outstanding 11-race card. So, Brad, let's look at race number 1, which is one of many very playable races. Race 1, of course, begins the 50-cent early pick 5. The turf rails today are at 0 feet, and we are sprinting 6 furlongs in the turf course. Maiden special weight Calbred 3-year-olds. A good field of 10 here. The morning line favorite in the current betting choice at 2-1 is number 3, Book Clubhouse from the Sean McCarthy barn. You like the favorite here, Brad, or are you looking elsewhere?
I do like the favorite. I booked Clubhouse. His debut was okay. Finished second by a length. That was last summer at Del Mar. And then his next 3 starts, not that great. He put it all together. He added Lasix last time out. He put it all together. He finished super, finishing second behind Romantic Ride, who came back to win his next start. I like Book Clubhouse. The rails are down today. The turf rails are down. And I know a lot of people think that when the rails are down, comfort behinders have a better chance.
But you have the stats to prove otherwise.
Yeah, it's just not true. And that's one reason why I'm a little bit leery about Book Clubhouse. There have been 10 turf sprints at 6 furlongs this winter with the rails at 0. 8 of them have been won by horses position 1, 2, 3. Only 2 of the 10 won by deep closers. And this is 6 furlong turf sprints is a type of race that gets big field. So you would think there would be more closers. There haven't been. So I Book Clubhouse is up against a potential track profile that is not beneficial for his deep closing style. I still think he's the horse to beat. Number 10, Parnelli Jones. He's switching from dirt to turf. He doesn't really have a whole lot of grass in his pedigree. Tough Sunday hasn't had a lot of progeny, but he's only had 1 turf winner from 18 turf starters, Tough Sunday. And I know that's a small sample. I still picked him second, Parnelli Jones, because he's going to be forwardly placed outside the other speed horse. And the crazy knockout horse that I'm going to be tinkering with just a little bit is number 8, Cottonmouth. Trainer Peter Miller does not usually win with first-time starters. Second start maidens, how about a 22% win rate? Cottonmouth is quick. He showed speed in his debut, backed up and got beat 27 lengths. And off that race, Miller's putting him in a Calbred maiden special weight after losing a maiden 50. I suspect that this horse might be a little bit better than his price suggests. So I'll be tinkering with the long shot Cottonmouth, but I think that the race goes through Book Clubhouse coming from behind and Parnelli Jones with an upfront trip.
Cottonmouth, number 8, currently 25-1 on the topo right now. One question for you, Brad, in race number 1. It relates to number 9, King's Ride, the first-time starter who's a full brother to Brickyard Ride. We remember Brickyard Ride had a tremendous amount of early gas. It appears that maybe King's Ride might be maybe not as talented as his brother, but certainly similar.
And Brickyard Ride also was a turf winner. So he, based on pedigree, you would expect the King's Ride would be just right at home on grass. Trainer Craig Lewis is another guy who doesn't often crank his maidens up to win first time out. Now, if this horse is half as quick as his brother, he's going to have something to say about the pace scenario and set it up for Booked Clubhouse. But with a Craig Lewis first-time starter, most of the time they improve as they race.
And King's Ride, ridden by the birthday boy, Juan Hernandez. Happy birthday today, Juan. Race number 2 begins at 50-cent early pick 4. We're sprinting 6 furlongs this time on the main track. Allowance optional claiming types. Non-winners of 1 other than. Scratch the 3. Take note number 2. Pally Kitten is a first-time gelding. Your best bet, at least in the daily racing form, is in this race, Brad. Is number 6, Red Flag, who's 5-2 on the Maury line. Why do you like Red Flag?
Well, I like Red Flag because I think that this race can set up for him. I mean, he's the fastest, best horse in the race, an 8-time winner, running into 1 other than. He's in for the $50,000 optional tag. There is a key scratch out of here. Number 3, Running with Chaos. I would have liked to have seen Running with Chaos in the field because he would add more speed to the field, but I still think there's enough speed for Red Flag to run at, those being the front runners being number 7, Simple Song, and number 5, Comedy Town. Red Flag is the type of, I don't usually like to bet deep closers in dirt sprints at Santa Anita, but I think that he's just simply the best horse in the field. The horse that beat him last time out, Cornucoping, is a future stakes runner
From the Bob Baffert
from the Baffert stable. And Red Flag, he wins and wins and wins. Trainer Jeff Mullins has won with his last 5 favorites, 9 of his last 12. I think that Comedy Town and Simple Song can lay down fractions honest enough for Red Flag to come and get them. If he does not, then my second preference is number 5, Comedy Towns. But I think that Red Flag is relatively solid coming from off the pace.
And good luck to the owner, Keith Johnston, owner of Red Flag, number 6, Brad's best bet on today's card. Race number 3, we're back on the turf course sprinting 6 furlongs of the distance. 3-year-old fillies, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. Scratch the 6, South Bay, leaves us with a field of 5. Number 2 will happen, returning off the short layoff. Adding Lasix for trainer Richie Baltas is the 9-5 morning line favorite. What say you about race 3, Brad?
Well, of those 10 6-furlong turf sprints with the rails at 0, 4 of them were 1 gate to wire, and I don't think there's any doubt that number 2 will happen is going to make the lead. First start since last fall at Santa Anita. She won her career debut at Del Mar, so we know she runs well fresh. She's working well. She gets Lasix for her comeback, and I think that number 2 will happen, will go gate to wire. If she misfires, then the horse that's going to be sitting second, number 1, Umbrale, is probably going to be the one to inherit the lead. It looks to me like the type of race that could be a parade with Will Happen, gate to wire, and Umbrale just chasing her all the way. If those 2 happen to hook up, watch out for number 3, Surfing USA. But I think Will Happen is relatively solid at a short price in the field of 5 with the scratch of number 6, South Bay.
Surfing USA, certainly those of us who were affiliated with Jeff Siegel remember that he was a part owner of this particular horse in conjunction with Eric, his good friend Sondheimer. We wish them nothing but the best of luck today. I know that Eric will be on track. Race number 4 begins the 50-cent middle pick 4. It's the first stake race on today's card. It's the Grade 1 B. Wayne Hughes Beholder Mile presented by FanDuel. The purse is $300,000. It's for fillies and mares going 1 mile. The Breeder Cup Sprint Champion, filly and mare Sprint Champion, number 4, Splendora, is the 4-5 morning line favorite. We know that she can sprint. We also know she can route. Any concern about now her going 2 turns?
0, especially not after watching her workout on February 28th. She was by herself. Juan Hernandez was aboard, and she was just, you don't have to be a physicality expert to appreciate what a good horse looks like when they're out there training and loving what they do. And that's exactly what Splendora did last week. She went 6 furlongs in 1:11.2. It was the fastest work of the morning of 4 works at the distance. Big deal. She's entering off of a 4-race win streak. And if she's not the speed of the field, then she's going to sit second behind her stablemate Nafisa. Those are the 2 speeds in the race. You know that Baffert's going to give instructions to these 2 jockeys, Hernandez and Kimura. Don't go head and head. Whoever makes the lead, fine, but I don't want the other guy to engage you. So this is another race that could very well be a parade. And that's the order I picked them. Splendora is the 4-5 favorite over Nafisa. There's a long shot in the field that intrigues me a little bit, and I don't think she's good enough to beat Splendora, but trainer Safi Joseph is shipping Dazzling Move out here from Florida. Her comeback race was not very good. She needed it. She ran a lot better last time out, finishing 5th in the Grade 2 Inside Information. She's adding blinkers. She's going to be more forwardly placed, according to Safi Joseph, who I spoke with early this week, and she's making the 3rd start back off the bench. She should get a forwardly placed trip. And if there is an upset in this field, I look for Dazzling Move to at least make an impact. And then there's one other shipper I just want to mention, not that I like her, that's number 5, Bless the Broken. I respect her because trainer Brad Cox came out here 3 years ago with Amo Ray and he scored an upset in this very race. So he knows what it takes to win the Beholder Mile. But bottom line is Splendora is going to be tough to beat. The Bob Baffert should run 1-2. I might tinker a little bit with Dazzling Move if she goes off something close to her 8-1 morning line.
And just a couple of additional comments on the Brad Cox filly that you mentioned, Brad, number 5, Bless the Broken. You can see 3 races back. She finished 3rd in the Kentucky Oaks, so she certainly has a bit of class. Also, you can see last time out, she ran on a fast track. She's caught some sloppy tracks, and she's never won on a sloppy track, but she is 2 for 6 on a fast main track. That might be one of the reasons why trainer Brad Cox decided to ship her out today for the Grade 1 Beholder Mile, as well as the black type. That wouldn't hurt. Race number 5, 1 mile on the turf course. It's a starter allowance race. We've got a good field of 9 here. Morning line favorite number 6, Jimmy Blue Jeans from George Papadopoulos' barn. Kind of has reawoken, so to speak. He really likes to be close to the pace. When he gets his type of trip, he's tough to run by.
Isn't he going to get that same trip today?
I think so.
Because there's not a lot of speed in this field. I'm going to just to get back to the rails at 0, turf miles, rails at 0. 2 of the last 3 races, 1 mile turf with the rails down were won by front runners, and both of them paid $18 and change. So my point is, rails at 0 is not a big issue for a front runner like Jimmy Blue Jeans, and the pace scenario is absolutely ideal because there's really not much, if any, speed in this field. I think that Jimmy Blue Jeans, he's practically a white horse. It's cool to look at. Anyway, I think he's going to go gate to wire at a short price. Number 6, Jimmy Blue Jeans.
Horse racing nerds, it's okay to talk about that.
Well, look,
easy to spot on the racetrack.
I was gonna say something stupid, and I'll go ahead and say it anyway. I heard this one back when I was a kid. Always bet on gray horses with speed because the horses behind him will think he's a ghost and they won't want to pass him. It's stupid, I know. But anyway.
But if it shows a profit, I'm all in.
Exactly. I think Jimmy Blue Jeans is a very profitable play today. I don't think he's going to be 3-1. I can see him getting bet down. I think he makes the lead and coasts gate to wire. Number 7, Fantastic. The 10-year-old trained by Pete Yurden. You got to love these 10-year-old grizzled geldings, but he comes from out of it, and he's up against a pace scenario that's not beneficial to his running style. So 6-7 for me.
And you mentioned Jeff Mullins being effective with post-time favorites. Brad, again, in your article for today's analysis, you mentioned George Papadopoulos, 13 for 17 with favorites since early December. Certainly when George's horses get back, they're live.
I have never seen a trainer who is effective with favorites as George Papadopoulos has been over the last couple of years. In fact, I think over the last year, he's hitting at like a 61% rate. And I'm talking with more than 50 post-time favorites.
Correct, a big sample size.
Huge sample size. They run like they are supposed to run, and I love that. When you can bet on a trainer whose horses run as you expect them to run, that's a friend of mine.
Particularly for single purposes if you're playing multi-race exotics.
You better believe it.
Race number 6 begins the $2 pick 6. $2 pick 6 here. The traditional one at St. Anita did get it yesterday. So we start with a fresh pool. It's a good sequence. We kick things off in race 6, spreading 6.5 furlongs for what appears to be on paper some very talented maiden special weight 3-year-olds. There is one scratch. Scratch the 5, Sophie's Heart. Still leaves us with a good field of 9. Bob Baffert trains 3 in this particular field, including the morning line favorite, the first-time starter number 9, Memory, who's 2-1 on the morning line. A lot of different ways you can go here, Brad. Which way you going and why?
This might be the deepest maiden race for this crop that we've seen in Southern California, even going back to last summer when they were just 2-year-olds. There are some very good prospects in this field. I kind of took the easy way out, and I'm not sure if I made the right selection or not, and that's a horse that I know can run in the afternoon. Number 10, Captain Shreve. He finished second in his career debut behind Secured Freedom, who is a major player today in the San Felipe Stakes, and he finished second, talking about Captain Shreve, last time out against Potente, who is also in the San Felipe Stakes. So Captain Shreve finished second to a couple of good horses. He's drawn outside. He has speed. He has an experience advantage. But this race could perhaps even be tougher than the first 2 that he was in against. The number 9, Memory, a Bob Baffert trained son of Uncle Mo, who's working extremely well. He's the morning line favorite at odds of 2-1. Baffert and Hernandez have won with their last 5 debut runners in maiden special weights, 10 for 17 over the last 7 months. When they combined with the first-time starter, you know the horse is live. So those are the 2, Captain Shreve and Memory, but this is far more than a 2-horse race. There are a couple of first-time starters that I'm very interested to watch, including number 3, Decisive Win, a Nyquist colt trained by Doug O'Neill, who's listed at 10-1 and training super, and Mark Glatt trains Duke Silver, listed at 12-1, also working exceptionally well. Duke Silver's by a sire that doesn't get a lot of debut winners. Bo Liam is a 7% debut sire. Decisive Win is by Nyquist, who gets 16% debut winners. But I think that both those firsters are live at double-digit odds. Number 3, Decisive Win, and number 7, Duke Silver. They're going to have to beat the experienced horse, Captain Shreve, and Bob Baffert trained Memory.
And Brad, there's a couple of horses who do have racing experience that I want to draw your attention to, because I know you give them a little bit of a look as well. Number 6, Deep Tracks, the $1 Million Son of Nyquist. You have made your horses to watch list. Said smart debut. Certainly he has a right to improve. In Civil Liberty, you'll remember his efforts down at Del Mar during the summer. He finished a good second to Brandt, who we're going to see a little bit later on in the San Felipe. If he can come back to that type of form, it's actually the best last race Beyer speed figure in the field.
Yeah, well, that's the question. Can he reproduce that form coming in off the long layoff? From what I understand, the first-time starter trained by O'Neill is a little bit more well-meant than this grade 1 placed maiden, number 2, Civil Liberty. But Civil Liberty was a very promising 2-year-old. He's coming back with Lasix, and off those speed figures, you could make a case and say he's the fastest horse in the race. But I'm not sure if, 6.5 from an inside post. I'm not sure if he's going to, be effective first start back.
Race number 7 begins both the 50-cent late pick 5 as well as the $3 all turf pick 3 wagers with a reduced 15% takeout for the all turf pick 3. We kick both wagers off in race 7 for maiden special weights once again. This time 3-year-old fillies going 6 furlongs in the turf course. Scratch the also eligible number 13 again leaves us with a good field of 12 more in line favorites. Somewhat mired down on the rail. Number 1, Mo Sasha from the Michael McCarthy barn, second-time starter. Give us your thoughts on race 7, Brad.
Mo Sasha was not supposed to run as well as she did first time out. She came in with a very light work tab, and she was running against an experienced stablemate by the name of Counterbalance. Counterbalance won the race. Mo Sasha ran exceptionally well to finish second behind her stablemate, and she's worked 3 times since then. So there's no reason at all to expect that she won't take a step forward second time out with a race under her belt. She's going to have to negotiate traffic. That's the risk you take in backing a late runner at a short price. So, but she is the horse to beat. The horse that I picked second, I'm not quite sure why number 10 Mad Dog would be listed at 20-1 with a pedigree like that. She's a daughter of Into Mischief out of the stakes-winning Warfront mare by the name of Dog Tag. And trainer Richie Baltus has won with 2 of his last 4 turf sprint firsters. Mad Dog, ridden by Jaramillo, who's having a terrific winter meet here. I think the Mad Dog is live at a price. There is a bomb in here that I'm going to fiddle with, and I don't know if she'll handle grass or not, but number 6, Banzai Betty. The best race of her 5-star career was her debut, and it was the only time she sprinted. She missed by a neck at odds of 14-1. She routed her next 4 starts. It made sense to stretch her out with that pedigree. She's by Upstart out of 11 Drop Kid Mare, but she's just lost her punch late in all 4 routes. They're backing her up. Trainer George Papapatromo backing her up to 1 turn today. If she can handle grass, and I'm not sure she will because Upstart progeny usually tend to prefer dirt, but number 6, Banzai Betty at odds of 30-1, I can see her slipping into the trifecta, but the race goes through number 1, Mo Sasha, number 10, Mad Dog, with a flyer on number 6, Banzai Betty.
Brad, we'll try and keep the conversation brief because we still have 4 more races to go, but you bring up a good point about risk versus reward, which I talk a lot about during my Pick 6 segment. Banzai Betty might not win, but at 20-1, you have to take a shot simply because the reward outweighs the risk.
Yeah, I mean, she only has to win one out of 20 starts to show a profit. So that's the type of, I don't mind betting on a long shot as long as I know why she is a long shot. It's pretty clear that, I mean, her last 4 starts, she got beat double digits every single time.
A lot of question marks.
Lots of question marks, but there is a reason to believe that she might improve on the distance cutback.
Race number 8 is one of our feature races on today's card. It's the Grade 2 San Felipe Stakes presented by DK Horse. $200,000 guaranteed, 1 mile and 1/16 on the main track for 3-year-olds. Also, race 8 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We've got a very talented field of 7 3-year-olds in this particular field. Brandt, who we've been talking about from the Bob Baffert barn, is the even money favorite. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Brad, we want to watch a replay that 2 of these runners exit. Specifically, it's the Robert B. Lewis. We're going to watch 2 runners in this replay. We're really going to focus on the runner breaking from the outside post. In this replay, that would be Secured Freedom, trained by Timmy Actita and ridden by Kaz Kamura. Also, Robusta is going to break right inside of Secured Freedom in post position number 6. He runs deceivingly well based upon what you see in the racing form, which is compared to what you're about to watch on the replay. But more importantly, let's watch just the trip for Secured Freedom breaking from the outside post. Listen to Frank Miramonti describe the action and see if he should be 8-1 on today's morning line. Let's roll the tape.
And they're off in the Robert B. Lewis. and Intrepido bounces out right on top. Briggs Army Power in between horses, and Robusta is just outside of them as they move into the first turn. Plutarch is a close-up fourth now, moving up between rivals, and at the rail, Desert Gate is only about a length and a half or two off the lead. Cherokee Nation second to last, and Secured Freedom no more than 4 lengths covers this entire field as they make their way onto the backstretch. And it is Intrepido down at the rail, Plutarch in between, and Briggs Army Power in third. Robusta has to go 4 wide. Desert Gate tucked in on the fence, has a little bit of room there too, only 2 lengths off the lead. Then Cherokee Nation, who's about a half length in front of Secured Freedom. Still extremely bunched as they pass the half-mile pole. Plutarch on the outside and Intrepido are stride for stride. Briggs Army Power has dropped right out of it as Robusta makes a 3-wide bid after the pacemakers. Desert Gate is asked to pick it up down at the rail. He is joined by Secured Freedom, who's 4 lengths off that leader, Plutarch. And Plutarch is the one to catch with a quarter of a mile to go. At the rail, Intrepido is going with him. Plutarch just in front at the top of the stretch. Intrepido is trying his best, but a half length behind. 4 more lengths to Desert Gate in third, and then Robusta coming to the 16th pole, and it's Plutarch and a very game Intrepido who will not surrender. Plutarch has him though, and it's Plutarch to win the Robert B. Lewis.
Brad, the distance of the Robert B. Lewis was a mile. And take a look at Secured Freedom now on the gallop out. Unfortunately, they don't pay past the gallop out, but boy, he continues to gobble up the ground. He's going to like the extra distance. He's not going to be as caught as wide as he was in the Robert B. Lewis, like we talked about before watching the replay. There's no way this horse is going to be 8-1 come post up.
No, his odds will probably be half that. Secured Freedom, that was a terrific. The question going into the Robert B. Lewis is, could Secured Freedom, it's under practical joke, stay 2 turns? I think we just saw what the answer was. He wants every bit of, he probably wants longer than a mile and 16th of the day. That was a terrific run by Secured Freedom. He's trained well since then, and he's my second preference in the race, and I respect him a lot. Let's just talk briefly, Tom, about Brandt, who's the best horse in the race. He's a Grade 1 winner from last summer, 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, but he hasn't started in 4 months, and this is his comeback race to prepare him for a potential run at the Kentucky Derby. Is he fit enough to win going a mile and 16th? Baffert does not usually send out short horses, so he's probably ready, yeah. But if you're going to beat Brandt, a $3 million son of Gunrunner who has established himself as one of the elite members of his division, of his crop, today's the day to beat him. I'm going to try to beat him with number 6, So Happy, who's stretching out from, he's 2 for 2, stretching out from the 7 furlong San Vicente Stakes. He's the son of Run Happy, so I don't know if a mile and a quarter on the first Saturday in May will be, on his dance card or whatever, but this is a very good colt, and he has trained exceptionally well since his San Vicente, stretching out from 7 furlongs to a mile and 16th. I think that's okay. He's versatile. He'll be forwardly placed. This is a very good horse. I think he springs the upset. He's my top selection, number 6, So Happy, at odds of 2-1. Secured Freedom, second selection at a price that's going to be lower than 8. And then just out of respect, Brandt as my third preference at even money. But I'm going to try to beat Brandt today. And if he wins, then good for him. Then the best horse won the race.
We continue the theme of quality racing in race 9, where it's the Grade 2 Frankie Kilroy going 1 mile on the turf course. Also, race 9 begins the $3 late pick 3, also with a reduced 15% takeout. Field of 8, Maury Line favorite number 3, El Patente from the Dale Blacker Barn, 5-2 on the Maury Line. 8 ways you can go here, Brad. Which way are you going and why?
Well, I'm going to try to beat the favorite again. This is the Frank Kilroy Mile is a race that long shot players have been love.
I know the stat. Give it to them.
Well, it's been the last 12 years, only one winning favorite in the Frankie Kilroy Mile. So I'm going to try to beat El Potente, not only because favorites don't usually win this race, but the pace scenario is not really great for his upfront pressing style. There's a lot of speed in here. El Potente, Cabo Spirit, Mi Bago, Final Boss. These are all horses that like to be on the lead or forwardly placed. I can see a very hot pace unfolding. And if so, it's going to set up for a come from behind her. And I picked come from behinders 1-2 in here. Number 4, Gas Me Up. He finished second behind El Potente last time out, but El Potente dictated terms up on the front end and raced gate to wire. Gas Me Up was a little bit farther off the pace than I think that his connections would have liked to have seen. He still ran well to rally for second. With as much speed as in this field today, I think Gas Me Up will get a little bit better chance. I'm still not convinced that he's a 2-turn horse. He might prefer a one-turn race. He was the career best race by Gas Me Up was the 6.5 down the hill, 2 starts back. So there's still a question of if he can stay 2 turns or whether his late kick will be as effective around 2 turns. But he's my top selection. And number 1, Mio Mono Ramon, Mark Glatt, trained veteran, training sensationally for his comeback. He's listed at 5-1 in a race that sets up for his closing style, and it's a go for me Hermano Ramon this afternoon. So I picked closers 1-2, Gas Me Up over Me Hermano Ramon, but I will not be surprised. All 8 runners in this field, in my opinion, have a chance.
Race number 10 is the feature race on today's card. It's the San Diego Handicap presented by Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel. 1.25 miles, the classic distance, $300,000 at the purse. 2 scratches. Scratch the 5 and the 7. Number 3, Just a Touch, who towers over the field, is the 3-2 original morning line favorite and likely to go lower. Also, race 10 begins the $5 late daily double sequence, also with a reduced 15% takeout. Free bingo square here, Brad?
Absolutely. And Just a Touch, he'll most likely be the odds-on favorite, and he's going to be very tough to beat. He's always been a good horse. He was just a little bit below the top 3 and 4-year-olds. But his comeback race, he finished second in the Louisiana Handicap. I know he finished second by a neck as the odds-on favorite. His effort was outstanding. He was 4 wide from start to finish. He still kept on trying, and he just barely lost. He got a good number, a 96 Spire, a 0 on Thorograph. On speed figures, he towers over the field. I think that number 3, Just a Touch, is simply the best horse in the race. He has enough tactical speed to be forwardly placed. He's not a need the lead type horse, so he has some versatility, and Just a Touch is going to be very, very tough. My second selection, number 6, British Isles, who actually ran surprisingly well in the Pegasus. He was 83-1 and finished 5th behind Skippy Longstocking and White Barrio. British Isles is listed at 6-1. I think it's a one-way exacta, number 3 over number 6. The horse that I have a big question mark over, I don't think he's a 1.25 mile horse, but if you want to second guess trainer Bob Baffert, you're going to end up, pulling your hair out. Number 2, Getaway Car. He's out of a dam, Surrender Now, who is a pure sprinter. She was very, very fast. I'm not sure if Getaway Car wants to go 1.25 miles. Baffert thinks highly enough of him to put him in this race. It's not the strongest big cap we've ever seen. So Getaway Car, my third selection. I still think that the distance is a reach, but I respect him, his ability, and his connections. But if Just a Touch loses, I'll be shocked.
We close out a really fun and hopefully profitable day in race number 11, offering $1 super high five wagering. We're traveling 1 mile the turf course for Calbred, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. Another good field of 10. Mark Glatt trains 2 in here, including the morning line favorite, Infinitum, 5-2 on the morning line. Give us a winner to close it out, Brad.
Well, I think it's Glatt. It's going to win this race, but with the horse that's going to start favorite, and it's not the program favorite. I expect number 1, Warm Sun and Brew, to start favorite in this race. He's fired every single start. His 2 routes were good. He broke his maiden around 2 turns. He finished second last time out. He's adding blinkers today. I didn't speak to Glad about this, but Warm Sun and Brew, even though he's making his 4th career start last time out, he was still a little bit green through the lane. And I wonder if that's the reason for the addition of blinkers, but he has speed for a affordably placed trip. He's versatile. He's improving. And number 1, Warm Sun and Brew, I think he wins race number 11 as the betting favorite. And my second selection is a long shot in here. Number 4, Keithing Thunder. I'm not sure about grass for him, but he's listed at 15-1, and he's run some dirt races, specifically his 2nd start back and his 4th start back, that are very, very fast on numbers. If he can handle the transition to turf, I think that Keithing Thunder can outrun his 15-1 morning line. So 1-4 for me in the finale.
Brad, outstanding analysis as always. Keep up the great work. Good luck on your selections today, I should say, and enjoy Big Cap Day here at the Great Race
Thanks,
Place.
Tom.
Thanks for watching, everybody. A couple of quick reminders, real fast. Coast to Coast Pick 5 begins Gulfstream Park, race 7, 12:50 p.m. Pacific time is the first leg of that. And what about the Sunset Pick 6? Easily my favorite wager these days on the racetrack. 2-day carryover, $1 minimum Pick 6, $69,000 already in the pool. Linking the last 3 races at San Diego with the last 3 races at Gulfstream Park. Make sure you get involved. One more reminder, spring forward. That's right. We turn the clocks ahead. That means tomorrow, first post, 1:00 p.m. Pacific time. Good 9-race card on tap. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a great and profitable Big Cap Day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Welcome to Big Cap Day, ladies and gentlemen. We have a very special treat to start things off. Multi-instrumentalist, Grammy award-winning vocalist, and songwriter Judith Hill has garnered much praise for her live performances as opener for the likes of her former collaborator and mentor, the late great Prince, and soul man John Legend, among many others. Judith, who wrote her first song at the age of 4, has been praised by Rolling Stone for her stellar powerhouse vocals. In addition to penning and performing her own material, she has backed artists such as Stevie Wonder and the late Michael Jackson. At this time, we ask that you please rise to honor America as we now proudly present Judith Hill with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the wreckage red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Judith Hill. We'll have the privilege of hearing her again later after race 3 with her rendition of God Bless America. It's Big Cap Day at the Great Race Place. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for coming out. The track conditions brought to you by John Deere. It's a perfect day with a fast track and a firm turf course. The rail on the turf is at 0 feet. Here are the changes. Keep in mind that with Gulfstream's 10th race today, we will start the Sunset 6. It has a carryover of $69,988. The first race, no scratches. The second kicks off the early pick 4, scratch 3, running with Chaos. In the third, scratch number 6, South Bay. Race 4 is the B. Wayne Hughes Beholder Mile, presented by FanDuel. Start of the middle, pick 4. Race 5 has no program changes. The 6th is the start of our $2 pick 6. Scratch number 5, Sophie's Heart. In the 7th, scratch the also eligible number 13, Jasmine, the late pick 5, and $3 all-turf pick 3 begin with race 7. The 8th is the San Felipe Stakes. It's presented by DK Horse. Just the blinker note. The 9th is the Frankie Kilroe Mile. Start of the late pick 3. The 10th is the Santa Anita Handicap, presented by Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel. $5 late double wagering offer. Number 4, Vodka carries 2 pounds over. Scratch 5, Skippy Longstocking. Scratch number 7, Westwood. And in the 11th, super high 5 wagering is offered. And just the blinker note, which is on your program page. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park, where you can bet on the Coast to Coast Pick 5. Starts with Gulfstream's 7th. It combines races from Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita Park every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Post time for the first race, the first of 11 in 24 minutes at 12 noon. We have an additional scratch on today's program. If you'll please turn your program to the fourth, the B. Wayne Hughes Beholder Mile. Scratch number 3, Dazzling Move. Race 4, scratch number 3, Dazzling Move.
And hello and welcome to a very special day of racing here at Santa Anita. I'm Millie Ball along with Michelle. Michelle, we have so many good races on tap. Not only the stakes races that we have, but also the maiden races that I'm looking forward to as well.
Yeah, some sensational maidens. I mean, going through the works today, I was like, we need to show this work, this work, this work. This might just be a work show by the end of the day, Millie.
So looking forward to those coming up. But let's start with race number 1. We are fast and firm this afternoon. The sun is out. We're on the turf course. 6 furlongs the distance for a Calbred maiden special weight. So the Calbreds highlight up in the first race. Let's take a look at the favorite at the number 3 at 7 to 5, and some workouts that you're going to try and help us with these maiden special weights. Let's look at Tight Dally first.
Yeah, the 2-horse going to be coming out of the gate here along the inside. This is a first-time starter for Peter Urton. I thought a little bit slow here out of the gate. As you can see, the workmate really got out of the gate much better. But then he's in his stride very quickly, so it didn't take him much longer to get himself going. I'm glad he's not drawn on the rail and then he's just off the rail, Millie, because I feel like that does help him out here. And he works good. I still feel like looking at him, he looks very turfy when they end up turning for home. He's got a little bit higher knee action, so I like the fact that he's going to be trying the grass here on debut, not only from his physicality, but obviously from his pedigree standpoint.
Yeah, by Geronimo. So there's turf there, and Heat Seeker on the bottom as well. And I would imagine that Peter Urton is hoping that the turf moves him up with the workouts that he's had for that barn. Another work that we had was King's Ride. We don't have time to show this. Horses are in the paddock right now, but King's Ride, a brother to Brickyard Ride. And I felt like I saw some similarities when watching this horse work.
Yeah, I thought he looked really good. He worked, the work we were going to show was January 25th, and you can see this horse 4-1 right now. So getting some lukewarm attention. And I like the fact that this horse worked so many 5 furlongs, because Craig Lewis has said, like, oh, you know, I don't normally get horses ready to go first time out. He is about a 10% debut trainer. But I felt like he got this horse ready, and then he sharpened him up, and then he just continued to give him 5 furlong drills. He wanted to be extra ready, gave him multiple gates. So I think that this horse actually should be pretty primed on unveiling. You know, you get JJ Hernandez aboard, which is never going to hurt anybody's feelings, and he is getting some attention at the betting public. He did work with blinkers on. I haven't seen him yet here, although he's about to come through our screen. So let's see if he ends up wearing those blinkers for his debut here. The 8 caught in mouth. There's getting nervous. Yep, he's got his blinkers on. How cool, how lackadaisical. Oh, never mind. I was going to say, look how cool and calm he is. Yeah, he was like
right there. Now, your top selection is different from mine. You went with the number 10, Parnelli Jones. What was it about this 3-year-old gelding that made you select him on top?
Well, I just think that I always prefer a horse with racing experience, especially if it's solid or there's an excuse. And Parnelli Jones has had back-to-back good races. He is going to try turf for the first time today, and I think he's got a fine turf pedigree by Tough Sunday out of a Sky Mesa mare. Also, his Tommy Norris form holds up, because Tommy Norris came back to beat winners yesterday. Positive Times came back to run third in a maiden special weight again. So again, the race just holds up to a good spot. That was off a break. I think certainly this horse is going to improve, and if he likes the grass, I feel like it should be all systems go. And he's not even getting that much attention right now.
I like the number 3 in here. Always 3-2. So he is getting the attention. Sean McCarthy, he was far back last time out on the turf course, and he finished up. He's an improving horse, a bit erratic actually in the stretch, but he had a ton of horse and he just ran out of real estate. So I'm hoping with that experience on the turf course at 6.5 furlongs, he can use that to his advantage and take that next step forward and graduate this afternoon. But he is a short price at 3-2. This starts the early pick 5 with 10 minutes to go until the opener. Welcome to Big Cap Day.
The band is back together. Jay Coe and Rick Tyree and Bill Frazier calling them onto the track for the first on Big Cap Day. This race will kick off the early pick 5 and is named for Boyle Heights Rockets RHS. Post time in 9 minutes.